time. All right. That's
So who's going to tell you if there's nobody else?
well. I'm just gonna keep turning it off and then turning it back on to see if I got my service restored.
Hmm.
Apparently, they're working on it, and he says I don't know if they're all going to come back up at once or a few at a time. This could go on all night. I'm thinking to myself, I think I might be talking to Consumer Cellular tomorrow.
Howdy, everyone. What?
Hi. Nothing. You didn't warn me.
You didn't drop any F-bombs or anything.
I know. Thank goodness.
Well, frickle fraggle.
Oh. Mm.
Look at that. So everyone today is Shawnette. Hi, Shawnette.
Hi, Shawnette.
Yep. Here's the shopping list I put this morning. I forgot about the Lara bars.
Ew. I tried them once. I wasn't a fan.
Well, they are essentially teen chow.
Oh, are they? I like protein.
Anything that comes in a wrapper.
Oh.
There's like this hierarchy of acceptable teen food. So basically, it starts with anything in a bag.
My teen food.
Anything in a bag, right? That can be chips, it can be popcorn, it can be what else?
Anything that's easy to start eating.
Yep, that's the hierarchy of it. It's ease of eating with an exponent, a component of flavor, right? So like
the most important thing.
Yeah, if there is a better mac and cheese that's in a box, or if there's just plain pasta and a block of cheese and some milk to make homemade macaroni and cheese versus a pre-made container with like 87 ingredients that you can throw in the microwave, that's the one that's going to get made.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was always the ramen in our house.
Oh yeah, ramen, quick, pretty quick. That's the pre-microwave days, though.
Well, that's when they wanted something hot.
Yep. Now, the way I made my ramen before I realized as an adult that I'm sensitive to MSG was cook the noodles, boil them to oblivion, pour all the juice off, then add the broth, and then shred a bunch of cheese on it with Tabasco.
Oh.
And that was 2 packages at a time. I'm getting an echo. Echo.
Wonder if it's me.
No, well, I don't know.
Well, maybe it's the dishwasher. Oh.
Echo. No, that time it didn't work. So, anyways, what are you doing? Hey, there's Tony. What's happening, Tony?
Hey, Tony. I'm just hanging out. I haven't been able to get my things done today because I have no phone.
Yeah, we're just hanging out. There's the link for you if you want to come in and blab. Mm-hmm. JT.
Yeah. Everybody join. We can all join.
We can all join. We'll be our own audience.
That's right.
It's like a big mirror in a clown house. I mean, fun house.
Yeah. Not my clowns.
Not my clown, not my circus.
That's what I told my boss one day. They were trying to cram us all into this car with all the equipment. And I looked at him and I said, is not my monkey circus. I'm going home.
Yeah, no doubt. That's funny.
Like, who's going to ride on the floor?
There he is.
There's
Hello.
Tony. Hi, Tony.
Hi.
Who's going to ride on the floor?
I'm not used to having the camera on me.
There's Tony.
Oh,
Hi, Tony.
wait,
We got a chat echo
sorry.
in that.
Is that better?
Yeah. What do you mean? Okay, that's like oxymoronic. You can't
No.
either say no clowns or no creepy, but no creepy clowns is like the same thing twice. That's like saying no lobster crustaceans.
You mentioned clowns one time. I had those plastic clowns, and you asked me, what are those clowns for? And I didn't know.
Yeah, they are kind of creepy.
I didn't know.
My ex was collecting clowns, like
Oh.
ceramic clowns, and putting them all on the shelf. And she's all, this one represents you, and this one is my brother, and this one's my other brother. And I was like,
That's really creepy.
that's like, what are you doing?
Kind of those little dolls that you poke with the needles.
All right, voodoo dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be very good.
Drawing smiley faces on them, trying to make you happy
Yeah. Yep.
or something.
That's
So what
funny.
are we talking about? Anything? Everything?
Well, we were talking about less than stellar phone company service. And that,
I didn't.
I had a call today for a survey. It was a political survey. I had her on the phone for 45 minutes. And she was laughing so hard. She's like, I'm going to get in trouble. Everyone's looking at me like, what is she doing over there? 'Cause
If
we
they
were
pull
talking
that QA, yeah. I was going to call you today, Tony, too, but I don't have a phone. So,
oh, your phone was messed up?
oh, yeah, there's issues, but I'm not alone with the issues. So,
their whole network's down.
Oh,
We promise here at Jim Bob Cellular, you're going to have the lowest rates anywhere.
we're only going to charge you for the minutes you use.
And
3 minutes every month when you can get on.
You get free Morse code with every new subscription.
so tell me about that program of individualizing or whatever. What is it called? You sent me a link,
Authenticating?
and then you were talking about it. It starts with a C. I'm real slow on some of that, but
Talking about authentication, C2K.
authentication, yeah. What,
Yeah.
tell me about that.
Well, it's the first step in pulling out of the system.
Okay.
And that, once you get that done, they help you guide you through, right, the process of you individually
Right.
setting up your house, right? Like Joshua, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. You setting up your house to serve under Yah and Him only through Yeshua, however you're setting it up. And that last episode they put out is really good because the last episode is really good because it clears up. You know how when you learn about something and you try to tell someone else about it before you thoroughly know it?
On top of it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've gotten to the point where they have a much clearer understanding and are able to articulate it better. So that last show is
Condensed everything.
it's the one. That's the one you want to to watch first. In
Okay.
my opinion, they should neutralize their previous episodes where they're doing the introduction of it. But like he said last night, if you've got a ruler, if you've got a foot-long ruler, okay, that's a guy foot right there. So it fits in the screen. That if you got a foot-long ruler, he asked his cohort he said, if this is you being independent and setting up your house for Christ and your family, how much of this ruler is authentication? And the co-host said, 1/16 of an inch. The first 1/16 of an inch. That is you. That's the beginning. That's the first step to doing it. But it's interesting. The next class starts Monday, August 29th.
Well, to be honest, I haven't looked into it much more than I thought about looking into it. So
Yep.
I don't know what the benefit of it is yet. I guess I have to watch the video. I did look at the website, and it was when I was reading through it, it said something about you have to pick a country you want to be part of or something. And I was like, what?
That's not what it is. You need the paperwork. What they want is for you to have. They won't generate the paperwork for you on your own, right? But they will generate the paperwork for
putting a link there, but okay.
Yeah, they will generate the paperwork for you because it's the way the government is. They have to leave you out, right? The enemy has to leave
I did
you.
that with my house because I do own it. I have the deed, and if I authenticated and went through this process, and I have that scripture written over one of my door jambs, so I've already committed my house to the Lord. But doing it on paper, what would the benefits be?
Well, there's a lot.
Okay.
But
probably too much to cover quickly.
Let me tell you about the first personal experience that I had. And that, you mind if I share our excursion the other day?
As long as I can go get some coffee.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Okay. So we went, I already got mine done, right? That first step.
Okay.
You can still hear, right?
I can hear you.
Okay. So we went and got that. I got that first step done. It's all completed. And now working on the organization of the house. My house, not anybody else's. So I had promised Lynn that I would help her with hers. And so I drove to her place, and she made an appointment with the state. Well, she had the appointment with the state. Then I drove to her place, and we went to the state building. Right. Well, you got to do the whole state security thing, right? Empty your pockets, metal detector, all this and that. And then they direct you over to the security desk. And they ask her, they say, okay, what are you here for? She says the appointment. So they go through all this stuff. She presents her driver's license. And did they have you sign something or fill something out? I don't remember right there.
No.
Not at the security desk. But they directed her to stand on this X that was on the floor and look at the camera and take her photograph. And then they gave her this pass with a sticker on it, right? And then said, put this on your left shoulder, left chest, and keep it here until you get done, and then you need to bring that back. So then I go up and I hand them my driver's license, and they look at my driver's license, and then they just handed me the pass. They didn't take my photograph. They didn't do anything. And if you take these classes, they'll tell you that's part of the difference of being registered in their system versus being out of their system, right? If you're in the system, they track you and do whatever they want. So I don't know. It was kind of interesting, but we talked about, you'll hear people give testimonies about they go through the process and they're working on getting everything organized, and they get pulled over for rolling through a stop sign, and they've got plenty of tickets in the past. And then the cop comes back with their driver's license and said, "Thank you. Have a good day, sir." And then they're like, "That's weird." Yeah. Interesting stuff. Here, this is what Shawnette says. All right. Yeah. Kinda, except we are bound. It's a removal from their system and a more insured bonding to Yeshua, to Christ, the way I see it. Right? Because then
contractual, then the loyalties.
The what?
So it's the loyalties that you give to a country. Then is what you're changing.
Yep. Well, no, you're not even changing that. You're not even changing the country. But the thing is, they won't issue you the paperwork, right? Because you have like 130 nations that are members of this Hague Convention, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if I go from, let's say I go from the United States to Great Britain, and then to Mexico, and then to Brazil, nothing changes. You're all still within that Hague community thing.
Okay. Right.
So then why they have you pick the non-Hague nation is because they have to authenticate you are who you are. So that's the reason they have you pick that other country.
Okay, yeah, that's where I would get stumped. There's too many choices.
Yep. So then the thing is, in order for them to do that, they have to pull you out of their system because you're a non-Hague, because you're going to a non-Hague, you're not going to, but because you're getting the documents for a non-Hague country.
Wonder if that would help me in my family court issues.
We don't know. We were discussing that, and I don't know. I haven't heard from anybody yet that's mid-process.
One way to find out, right?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, there is one way to find out.
Right.
We'll be finding out, though. Well, I'll be finding out.
Yeah.
So, I didn't get too far into it. I need to look into that more. Maybe I know you was floating a link across the bottom, and I know that Lynn sent me a link one time. I'll have to look through my phone.
Hi, Robert. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, here. I'll put that back. There you go.
C2K report. Okay, got it.
Yep. And that the contact information is on their website too.
So do they have any opportunities for work? I want to travel. No, I'm just kidding.
You know,
Go to these other countries and check them out. It's like, hey, if I'm a part of this, can I talk to your leader?
I think they're working on it.
Okay.
You know, but the big thing is, you know, once there's enough people that have established their houses, what they want to do is unify the houses and be able to have a central, I don't want to say authority, but a place very similar to like how it was set up when they first came out of Egypt and Moses was getting tired of handling all these little picky things.
Yeah, and
so
leaders over 50 and 100, just like Jesus did when he separated the people when he fed them.
Exactly.
Right.
And so when you establish your house, you'll be in charge of your house and whoever is underneath it, right? Whether it's family or if there's people that you bring in, you know, I mean, if you have an old widow,
it'd be a growing network of like-minded.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. And that see.
Kind of like my guild idea. I want to do a workers guild.
Well, actually, that's
networking.
See, because that's something I had been talking about with us doing the land. And, Abba, it's funny how Abba works. The Holy Spirit works because he put it in my head. We can all be, pull out of the beast system, but how are we going to support ourselves with our trade and everything in
Right.
that? In what I had thought, what came to me, what he placed on me was start a business. And then when you start a business, part of the things a corporation can do is pay their employees with perks, right? So I was thinking we could do that. So people come to us, like if you got here and you were doing electrical work, go do electrical work, they pay the company, and then whatever you need, order it through the company and it comes to you. And I was seeing it as a kind of loophole for getting out of the beast system.
Right.
But the way they're looking at it is you establish your house, right? You have your house here. Above your house is the authority you have in being saved by Christ. Below this, your house, you start your ministry. In your ministry, your house is isolated and answers only to Yah. But in your ministry, that's how you interact with the world. And everything's done on a per interaction basis, right? So every time.
A merit system. Right?
What?
A merit system. You earn rewards. Like
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, but you don't do it through a 501c3.
I would say LLC. They have a nice new LLC formation that you can be a nonprofit and an LLC.
Yeah, we were looking at that, but then
Not good enough.
well, the thing is, if you take the classes, they'll cover all that, and they're free. The only thing is, it's $12 to join because they have a private server that they have to maintain.
Okay. Is that a lifetime membership for $12, or is that per month?
It's a year, so $1 a month, basically.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and I know that's sometimes that's kind of expensive for
just
people
another
right
bill,
Yeah,
it's another bill.
But
I have a bill that I've been paying $11 a month on for an old credit card. First credit card that I ever got. It's my only debt, and I still owe $600. I pay them $11 a month. Really? I've been doing it forever. It's like, but it's getting down. I brought it down a few hundred.
Yeah. What kind of company? What kind of card?
Oh, it was a Capital One. When I had my back surgery and I couldn't work, I used it to eat. And then they increased it right in the middle of when I was getting the surgery, like an extra $300 or $400. And I'm like, oh, nice. Thank you, Lord. I was eating, I was eating off of it. I was getting the cheap menu for like months off of that card. It saved me. So I don't mind paying it back. It's fine. It's like, okay, it'll take a while, but I pay it. I disputed. I had college debt. I paid all that off. Actually, I was really mad about that. They took my taxes one year to pay my college debt off. I told them I was going to go out there and talk to them in person about it. I was so mad.
Wow. That's how I did it. You remember there used to be a department store here called Mervyn's.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't get a credit card anywhere, and Mervyn's gave me one. Yeah, with like an $80 credit limit. So I went and bought like a pair of socks or something and then paid it off. And then they're like, oh, well, here, now you can have a $150 credit limit. So then I went and bought some shoes and paid those off. And then they're all, now you have a $200 credit limit. And it just kept going up and up.
Kohl's wouldn't even give me a credit card. I worked for them.
Yeah, I know. JJ.
Yeah, I'd love to do ministries and stuff. I'm thinking of trying to help people do something. There's a lot of grants. Have you guys considered grants? I've been looking at them a lot lately. My aunt actually writes grants for a company, the Boys and Girls Club. She works there and writes grants for them here in Flint. And that's what she does full time. She's like, I wish I could get paid per grant that I write, because these companies hire her to do the grants. She's trying to renegotiate. She's like, I write grants for them full time, and that's all she does. And she's like, not even an employee, and they barely pay her, probably minimum wage, and she's struggling. And excuse me, but yeah, writing grants really isn't that difficult. You need a business plan, and it sounds like you guys have one. Like, you know what you want to do, and you can put it down on paper. You can apply for grants. They get so much grant money that they never use it all. There's people that are giving away money that are rich, and they're like, I want this done. I want this thing done.
Yeah.
There's one grant that I was looking at to care for animals when the women or somebody goes into a substance abuse shelter, and they have animals. So they'll give you a grant so you can take care of the animals. And I'm like, wow, that's a great grant. That would be perfect. I could get a grant just to get my yard fenced in and then take care of somebody's dogs for a few months. And it would be fine. It'd be a job. Just one little thing. You can do 10 other grants for different things. There was one grant that I seen somebody get. It was a church. And the Mott Foundation gave them a grant. I think it was $5,000 to employ some kids for the summer. And they built and bought the property. They put a peace garden in and planted a bunch of flowers with the kids and cleaned up some houses. They actually come over to my house with the dumpster and all the kids and helped me clean up a yard that was really bad in the neighborhood. So there's things that you can do with those grants like that. You just don't know. You have to search for them all the time. But that might help.
I looked at
free money.
Well, I'm not worried about it because Abba provides.
Yeah, he does.
And
he does.
That.
But that could be one of the ways he provides.
I did a whole bunch of grant research when I was doing my flight training. Because learning to fly planes is expensive.
Yeah.
And man, there was a lot of free money out there. So long as you aren't a pale, older male learning to fly planes.
Yeah, you know what they told me when I ran into that problem? They said, well, what you need to do is find you somebody that shares your vision that's a woman, preferably of color, and then you'll get
it. Yeah, and then they plaster your face up all over Inside Edition. This man jilting older women out of money.
Yeah. Disabled lady in a wheelchair. She has one leg, and this is for real. I had a friend. She was like one leg in a wheelchair, and she's like, "I'll help you get these grants. We'll just put them we'll get it guaranteed. I'm disabled, and one leg." And I was like, "Yeah, we could get it, but then I'll probably get in trouble, so it's not." I was offered a grant one time. I just shot this idea out to them. They wanted to give me $250,000. I could employ 20 people. Well, it was 30 people, but I could maintain the employment of 20 people for 6 months. And then 10 of those people I had to maintain for, I get a lot of those, for a year. They'd give me $250,000 if I can make that many jobs. It didn't even matter what I did. They just wanted jobs for numbers.
Yeah.
And they'll give you that much money, and you'd be like, yeah, I'll make work. And you can make that work like the one people did for the grant where they just built a peace garden. But you could think of stuff that is more permanent or better. Mm-hmm. They were putting in these greenhouses in Flint. They tore down whole neighborhoods, getting grants for them.
to
And
get
they put
green.
up greenhouses, tents on the east side of Flint, and they're all torn up and destroyed already.
Huh.
Because
Well, that plastic doesn't hold up too well.
Right. Plastic it needs to be re-maintained. That's not a permanent structure. So they wasted the $10 million to tear down all these houses. And it looks horrible. I could drive down to Flint and show you. It looks horrible. I bid on these houses. They were spending, we're going to build these new houses in Flint, Michigan.
Right.
And I went and bid on the drywall, and they were so cheap, they didn't want to pay my price, which was pretty good. And then they hired somebody that was really cheap. They didn't do it right. People don't do it right. If you get a grant, make sure you do exactly what the grant asks you to do and do it above par. That way next year you can go get another one.
Yeah, it's not always the cheapest that's the best.
Yeah, you want it to be the best quality, not cheap, easy money. Don't take advantage of it and you'll get it. It could be a living.
Well, the other side of that, I know a dude that had a business, and he was doing cooler startups for the year. Running a special, $25, and that would include X, Y, and Z, and anything beyond X, Y, and Z was extra. And he was busy all day, every day. But then he started looking at other people's ads that were saying, we'll do it for $15. And he's all, well, I have to start charging less because they're going to put me out of business. It's like, no, you don't. No, not at all. Don't be stupid. And then of course, so he goes to $15, and then someone else goes to 10. It's like,
yeah, I don't do that. I never did that. Somebody tries to talk me down on the price. If I'm bidding a job, I did it for a long time. I do drywall. I'm bidding this job, and they start negotiating the price and trying to talk me down. I raise my price.
Right.
Because I don't want to work with them. I will add money to the price. I'm going to add $100 to this because I can tell you're difficult.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because they
won't hire you, and I'll walk away, and I'll be happy not to work for them. I don't need it.
Well, I was doing I had landscaping business, and I got it takes a while till you figure out your bidding.
Right.
Yeah, and there was a couple of the early ones, man, we ate a lot of labor for bidding too low. But then it's funny because you always run into those cheap people.
Right.
And I remember I went to this dude's house, and he had a pretty big backyard, and this tree covered like half his backyard. Oh. Right. It was like right in the middle and spread out over the whole yard. Yeah. And he wanted it thinned out because there was some stuff dying in the middle, and trimmed up so you could walk underneath it. And he's like, well, how much will that be? And this is 20 years ago. And I said, $300. He's all, $300. He says, that guy, the other guy that gave me a bid said he'd charge me $150. I said, well, if you want a $150 job done on this tree that's so beautiful, then go ahead and pay for that.
Right.
And then he says, I said, but if he messes it up, I can't repair it.
Charge you $300 to come back.
Yeah, it's messed up. And then he looks at me and he goes, well, how much will you charge me if I call you back to fix his work if he messes it up? And I looked at him and I go, $300. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's not going to happen. And then this one I underbid. We did this. These people were in the wealthiest area of the city. The homes are all like, back then were like $2 million. Right. And, gave her two different bids. She asked for two separate bids, one for the backyard, one for the front yard. And I said, okay. So this is like right when we were getting started out, and something we couldn't see, it looked like this hedge from her neighbors sticking over the fence. I was like, oh, that'll clean up pretty easy. So bid $250 for the backyard and $150 for the front. And then doing the backyard, that thing hanging over the fence took probably 6 hours just by itself.
Oh,
Yeah, because it was like 10 feet deep to the wall.
right.
And then we came back, a different day to do the front yard. She said, "How much is that?" And she said, I said, $150. And she said, "But you were here for all day long for the backyard, and it was only 250." And I just looked at her and I said, "Yes, but I grossly underbid that."
Right.
She shut up. She was like, "Yeah, I got one over on you for that one."
Right.
Yeah, that was a doozer.
Yeah, you can't underbid yourself. I've learned that lesson really quick. Is when I bid a job, I bid it so that when I get my half down, it's going to cover everybody that I have to pay for it and the materials to get that job done. All the gas, all my expenses are coming out of that draw.
Yeah.
So that the job can be complete, and then I double it so
Yep.
that I have some money at the end. So the job is paid for from the draw. If they flake out on me, if something goes bad where I got to hire people again, I can still manage with the next draw.
Yep.
And I never negotiate the price again. It's one and done. This is my price. I will get the job done for this price. This is how long it'll take. Even if something goes wrong, I can still get it done, you see. And I explain it to them. And I could, when I was good, when I was healthier, I could do it all the time. Make a lot of work. I could get a lot of jobs. I could get more work than I could had workers for.
Yeah. And then you ever get the people that call you for a bid?
Yeah.
They call you for a bid, and they're like, "Well, I got guests coming in this weekend, so I need it done by Friday."
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm scheduled 3 weeks out. So if you want me to do it, it's going to have to be 3 weeks from now.
I had somebody call me on a job. It was like 10 o'clock at night. They're like, "It's an emergency." We call them drywall emergencies. They said they hired somebody and they just came into town. They're from out of state and they thought the job was done and they were going to open the store the next day. And I looked at him, I says, "It's 10 o'clock at night." I said, "It doesn't matter how much." And it was just a little bit of finishing, take me 3 or 4 hours. Like, and I had another job to go to. And I said, "I don't even have tools with me." They said, "Home Depot's open 24/7 right down the road." And they were right. And I says, "Well, if you get me all this stuff, get me some Durabond pan, knife, and I need a heat gun because I have to dry the mud." I finished it that night and I made them go get me something to eat. I sent them to tacos, get me some tacos and some drinks. And I says, "I'll do it. And I need cash." And they gave how much I want. And they gave me $250 plus bought all the tools and my food. And I did it. I'll work overnight. I didn't have a problem with it. Cash.
See, that's one thing I like about landscaping.
Yeah.
People don't want you running power tools in the middle of the night. So
drywall, working inside, I've been given the key to businesses and just said, "There you go." I did the drywall for the Flint Institute of Arts. I can't even talk. And I worked third shift there. The security guys would let me in, and I'd go in the museum doing drywall. I liked it. But I can't do it anymore. My back's all messed up, and the rheumatoid has got to me. So I need a new job. So I'm thinking of a coffee house. What do you think? Start a coffee house?
There's a few people interested in starting a coffee house out where the land is.
Yeah.
And it would boom because there ain't no coffee around there.
You're right on the riding circuit.
Yeah. Like Lynn says, it's a loop that the motorcyclists like to do on the weekends.
Oh, okay.
And you could do booming business on Sundays and Fridays.
Okay.
And that we're also talking about doing our own farmers market because everybody else always wants to do those when we're studying.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, I'll have a trailer that's all set up for a coffee house. Well, trailer, like a portable coffee station. Danelle, she's into entrepreneur, small business ventures. She might join the chat with you guys.
Who was that? You remember there was a some multi-millionaire or billionaire that used to have he used to have like a thing in the paper, and people would write in and say, I'm looking to get money so that I can complete college. I worked my way through college, and now I broke my leg and I can't work anymore, and I only have one semester left. And this is what I'm studying, and this is what I want to do afterwards. And he would be like, you know what? I believe in your cause. I'll go ahead and pay for your last semester of college. Or people would be like, I want to start an animal rescue doing this or that because I've always dreamed it since I was a little boy or a little girl. And he'd be like, you don't have any plan. He said, I'll give you $20 so you can go buy this coffee table book on wildlife or something like that. And that, so he didn't just give money away just to give it away. You know, I mean, if you wrote him with whatever, I can't remember what that dude's name was, but he gave away an awful lot of money.
That's where we get a lot of our grants. I went to a grant meeting for the Mott Foundation one time. They had $50 million in grants that they couldn't give out.
For what foundation?
Mott Foundation.
Mott?
Mott. Yeah.
Mott. Like
so
Mott's applesauce?
Yeah, MOTT.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they have a foundation where they give away grants for all kinds of things, but a lot of them don't get used. Yeah. Nobody steps up and does anything. The money just goes right back, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I guess nobody wanted that $50 million. But you have to do specifically what they want done, and that's the trick. You read the grant, and then you write your business plan to fulfill that grant's need. So you have to be flexible and be willing to do different things. But grant writing's a good way to make money and get stuff done if you pick the right ones.
Yeah, well, that's when I was doing researching the grants for flight training. Right, this was long enough ago. It was pre-internet, so I had to order a book.
Oh yeah,
you remember the dude with the question marks on his suit?
Yeah,
and that if
I have his book,
they're giving away free money, right? Anyways, that went through that, and there was all kinds of grants available for flight training, but it would be like, $50,000 for any female that just graduated high school that wants to become a professional pilot, or $25,000 for any male of Irish descent who just graduated college that wants to become a professional pilot, or any woman in her 20s that got out of an abusive relationship that wants to become a professional pilot. We'll give you $40,000 for flight training. And it was like, and none of them were for dude over 30 of Irish descent, of pale white fish belly. that they were like, yeah, you know what? We don't like you.
So writing a business plan, Healing for Nations asked how to write a business plan. I'd suggest going to the Small Business Association, and they have a link there, and it'll tell you how to write a business plan. They'll walk you.
Yep. before. You remember SCORE?
Yep.
Service Corps of Retired Executives.
No.
And everybody's like, go to them. They know everything about starting a business. And this was right after Arizona passed LLC.
Right.
And so I said, okay. So I went down there and went to talk to SCORE. And it's all these old dudes in, business casual for them, which is like a tie with a shirt but no jacket.
Right.
And I was like, I really want to know how to set up an LLC. And they're like, we don't know nothing about LLCs. What you need to do is start a corporation. We use corporations, and just on and on. And then that, when I opened, I had a gun shop for a while. And when I opened that up, I contacted the Small Business Administration, and I crunched the numbers big time. I knew how much I needed.
All polished.
Yep, I knew I needed X amount for display, shelving, security display shelving, the safes, the tools, the gun inventory that I wanted that was popular at the time, all the holsters and other stuff. And I contacted them, and they're like, well, how much do you want to borrow? And I said, I can get it done with $50,000. And they said, oh yeah, we're not going to loan you $50,000. Right. I said, you're not going to loan me $50,000, but I need $50,000. And I said, well, we usually don't loan that little amount. If you were asking for $250,000, we'd give it to you. And I'm like, I am not going to borrow $250,000 for a brand new business.
Well, what you should have done is borrow the $250,000, put the $200,000 in the bank, use the $50,000 to start it up, and use the interest to pay back the loan.
That's what I should have done, but I was young,
right,
and didn't want to do that.
That's a lot of discipline too, because if you get $200,000, you're buying a boat.
Well, if I did,
I would. I'd be like, I don't even think I'm ever going to use this, but that's a lot of money.
If I had done that back then, there would have been a gun shop sponsoring a drag racing bike. Somewhere.
The problem with a lot of money is if you don't have discipline.
Yeah.
Which I don't. I'm too impulsive. I'd be like, all right, I got me big screens everywhere. I'm playing video games. And yeah, forget it. That's why God keeps me poor, is so I don't waste the money on stupid stuff.
Well, there's other things I didn't do when I was young too, because I just knew better. Like when I did have some money, I didn't buy a Ninja 750 crotch rocket, because I knew if I did at that time, I was going to be wrapped around a telephone pole within a couple of weeks.
Right.
And that wasn't in the plan. But it's okay. I'm here now.
Yeah.
Even after crashing my last one.
Yeah, I remember you got in that accident not too long ago. What, a year ago?
Yeah, it was last year in April. And that was fun.
Oh.
Not. But I was disobedient because the Spirit moved on me and said, turn left. I don't want to turn left. I hate that road. Turn left. I'm not turning left. I don't want to go by there. Turn left. No, I'm going to wait for the light to change. Huh.
So
Okay.
he was warning you, just didn't.
Yep.
That sucks. Having too much fun, not listening.
Yeah. Well, I was going to visit my friend whose dad, who was also my friend, died. So I wasn't listening. But I'm practicing that.
Right.
Yeah. It makes a big difference, Abba sent me to a store I didn't want to go to. I didn't want to go to that store until he told me to go to that store.
Yeah.
After I asked him which store to go to. And And I got there and got my stuff, and then these people were kind of blocking the aisle, and then this dude got a phone call while I was right there. And he's like, hello. My mom just died?
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
wow.
And then he called someone else and said, hey, mom just died. And then I was like, put all my stuff down. I said, after he hung up, I said, I overheard that. I said, can I pray with you? I prayed with him and his wife. And then I said, I'm just wondering how did she go? And he said she had dementia for a few years. And I was like, hey, I perfectly understand because my mom went through the same thing.
Right.
And that's why Abba told me to go to that store.
It's
Right
amazing when you get into the flow of the Spirit like that.
Yeah.
Because I totally know what you mean by that. Listening to his unctions and his leading, he'll lead you into some really cool places, situations. It's like, well, are you sure? It's like, yeah, give that guy a ride, or yeah, go and do that. Yes, it'll work out. I had you go this way for a reason.
Mhm.
It's like, okay,
Yeah, he's good to us.
yeah.
Yeah. If I hadn't listened to that one day on the highway, I heard, roll your window up. And so I immediately just rolled it up, and all of a sudden something came off that truck next to me and it just bounced up and hit that window right next to my head. Ooh.
Yeah.
If I had listened,
that would have been your noggin.
yeah, I could have been knocked out, got in a bad wreck.
When I worked for the state, I was driving to work one morning, speeding, and going on this parkway. Nobody else is up. It's like 4:30 in the morning. And it's weird how he puts thoughts in your head.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do if a coyote jumped in front of the truck right now? And I was thinking, well, I'd probably hit the brakes and then swerve. And like as soon as I finished that thought, this stray chow chow goes boink right in front of my truck. I was like, did exactly what I thought I was going to do. Brake, swerve, yeah.
Right. Well, it's the best way to avoid an accident is to think about what you will do if something happens. It's like, then you can prepare it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Train yourself.
And that, JJ, I was thinking about the other day, because I know everybody's heard me complain that it's hard to find hemp oil now. Right? Not CBD oil, hemp oil for like cooking and stuff. And I found the Natural Grocers carries it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in a refrigerated section. I was like, why are they putting it in there? It's a little more expensive than it used to be. But
Sprouts too is in the refrigerated section.
Oh, I haven't.
I know. Well, I have to go in there for my cheese and chips.
My experience has been that Sprouts said, hey, it's inflation. Let's go ahead and double all our prices.
They were high anyway.
It's like, do your managers go to the other stores and look at the prices? Do your district managers just sit around and imagine, you know what? Let's just keep charging higher prices until people quit buying it.
Yeah, we kind of do.
Actually, I tell you, when I was doing the landscape business, I did that. Because the lady for the mailer that was doing the advertising for me was like, hey, we don't have a cover advertisement. And I said, I can't afford that. And she's all, no, it's only $90 this week because we're getting ready to publish in like an hour. And I said, okay. And so I did it. And she's all, what area? And I said, I want it up in the foothills, which is where all the doctors and lawyers live.
Right.
And then the next week, the same thing. And after that, it was like I started getting calls up there. And so then I had been doing working everything out at $30 a man hour. I was like, man, these people got way more money than that. So I just kept making my bids
75 business.
more and more outrageous, and I never found a ceiling. They didn't care as long as the work got done when you said you were going to do it.
Well, get the highest that they'll go and the lowest that they'll go, and try to be somewhere in the middle. That way, you're making money. You're not gouging them, but you're still making money, and you give them a good job. Yeah, I did an advertisement one time. Well, I've done it over the years. I wait until there's a sale on the radio, and they usually call me, and they'll try to spin a commercial for me, and I'll be like, I don't know, and I talk them down for like 4 or 5 months. And then they finally say, well, it's crunch time. Do you want to do this or not? We got one spot left over. And it's like during rush hour. And I'm like, yeah, give me it on the radio. I'll do it at rush hour while everyone's stuck in traffic going up north. And I got a couple good calls off of that one, like $70 ad. It was like a 1 or 2 second. It was a real short commercial. But I made thousands of dollars off of that. I mean, just really good leads. Some contractor stuck in traffic, heard it, needed a drywaller, called me, and I worked for him for a while. And it's like, man, that was a good ad. $70, and I got like thousands of dollars worth of money off of it. So strategic, or you can spend too much on advertisement. Like the first time I ever advertised for my drywall business, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I got in the phone book and I got a colored ad. I was the only colored ad in the drywall section. I put a business card colored ad in there. Well, I didn't realize that they put me in for the whole state of Michigan. I did it in my county because that's all I was registered for. And that bill was so high, and that year they went out of business and still tried to collect the money off of me.
Now, was that I'm sorry, was that the Yellow Pages? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I advertised in those here, and a 3/4 inch ad in the Yellow Pages for the gun shop was like, I don't even remember, $275 a year. I was like, my goodness. And then, because the Yellow Pages, we used to get the Yellow Pages separate from the White Pages. You get the White Pages, and then you got the Yellow Pages. But the Yellow Pages had full color lawyer ad on the back.
Chiropractic, first chiropractic, and the other, they would literally fight over that back page.
So many calls. It was stupid because I was having to travel too far. It's like, I am not going to travel 2 hours every single day on travel and hundreds of miles. I said, I'm going to concentrate in my area, just my county. Not going to travel. I don't like going down to Detroit and I could get so much work in Detroit, but I'm an hour and a half away with 3 hours of traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, you're going to be stuck in your car for 3 hours driving back and forth on top of your drive time because the traffic's so bad out there. I didn't like working in Detroit, but there's tons of money to be made. But you're in Detroit. A lot of people don't even know what kind of neighborhood you're going into. I've known of a lot of contractors being robbed and killed out there, so I don't even try.
It does happen.
Yeah, knocked off of ladders, had their nail guns stolen, and it's dangerous.
Get off the roof working on the AC unit, and your van's up on blocks.
Right.
Right.
Yep. All right. Well, I think I'm going to let everybody go. I got to get prepared to pick someone up from the airport.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Good to see everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Tony. Matt, everybody that showed up. Laura Lee. Super. Who else is in here? Jason.
Danielle.
JJ.
Who else?
Ren, who is that?
Ooh, Flame Fire 21. Oh,
Who is that guy? Okay.
and Ren, did you get Ren?
Yeah. And Ren, she was the
Okay.
last one I got.
Oh, okay.
So everybody, thanks. Love you all. We'll be reading in a couple of days. Adios.
Bye.